5 capital murder suspects are in custody. DeSoto police say they came up with a plan to rob some young men, and they ended up killing a high school student. The victim, 17-year-old Lavelle Jenkins III, was an aspiring lawyer who was a junior at DISD's exclusive law magnet school at the Yvonne Ewell Townview Center. These are pictures of him from Facebook. Arrest affidavits describe how Jenkins was shot and killed by 2 gunmen while sitting in a car in a DeSoto neighborhood. Fox 4's James Rose is with us now. James, you've got more on who was arrested, the motive, and the person who provided the key piece of evidence that police say helped crack the case.
Right, Clarice, these suspects range in age from 16 to 20 years old, and these affidavits explain how they lured him to a neighborhood and robbed him, and it also explains just how quickly it went from robbery to murder.
Thank God. I am so happy because that was a very, very weird and bad situation.
Marva Edwards, afraid to speak until now, provided police with what they call a key piece of evidence in their capital murder case. DeSoto police arrested 5 capital murder suspects, including 1 juvenile. Their 20-year-old Lamad Mathis, his brother, 18-year-old Tremon Mathis, and 18-year-old Kyle Rodriguez, also another adult, the Carrie Berry, and a juvenile who's not been named. Edwards' surveillance cameras caught the Jenkins murder right in front of her home last Thursday night. Police took that DVR into custody, but she remembers a car pulling into the view of the camera. She watched the video with detectives.
And it turns the corner there, makes a U-turn and stop right there at the stop sign. And it sit there about 5 minutes. Then it blinks its lights.
Inside that car, the affidavit says, were 4 young men, 2 of them juveniles. And in the front passenger seat, the murder victim, 17-year-old Lavelle Jenkins III, seen here on social media. Lamad Mathis's affidavit says 18-year-old Kyle Rodriguez and a 16-year-old girl got into the back seat on each side, boxing in the rear passengers. The same affidavit spells out the motive. An unnamed suspect called a person known as Weed Man, who has sold weed to her before, and he was the target. The affidavit says Rodriguez needed some money, and the group planned to rob someone for their dope and money. The affidavit then says Tremon got into the back rear passenger seat, and he says he saw his brother, Lamad, shoot inside the vehicle.
He was a cold-blooded young man, whoever he is. He's terrible.
That's how Edwards recalls seeing the video.
Then he walked to the driver's side, and I don't know if he opened the door, if somebody else opened the door, but you could see the door open, and then you could see the flash from the gunshots.
Another affidavit says detectives observed that 2 of the male suspects fired toward the vehicle. Edwards is relieved arrests have been made and thankful she put up the cameras just about a month ago.
It makes me very happy. We got them for our protection. We never thought we would catch something on there that was so important.
Now, we left messages for Lavelle Jenkins' family. We have not yet heard back from them, Clarice.
She is absolutely right about the surveillance cameras that are on her house, James. Your report names 1 shooter, but it mentions that 2. Do we know who the second shooter is or was?
Well, you know, at this point we don't. We do know that this is still very much a wide-open investigation, and sources close to this investigation tell me that there may well be additional people charged in this crime. So it's still wide open, and, you know, that video evidence is pretty critical in piecing together all the stories. There's a lot of players. At this point, just 5, but again, they say there could be more. And, you know, when you talk about trigger man or trigger person in this case, you know, if you're charged with capital murder in Texas, it really doesn't matter much, Clarice, who pulls the trigger.
Excellent point, James. James Rose, live at the DeSoto Police Department.